So, have you ever picked a fresh fruit, a peach? Do you even like them? I grew up on an orchard here in Conway. Sounds funny, huh? I'm not sure about whether or not you're from Conway or not, but if you are, then more than likely you have heard of or been to the orchard. It is on top of Round Mountain in South Conway called Collins Round Mountain Orchard. This orchard was my childhood. I have this beautiful handmade quilt that was made out of the logos on the back of the shirt that we wore for work. My mom was literally pregnant with me when they planted the first trees. So there are some trees that are still as old as I am, which is 36, but most have been replaced. And sadly, a lot are beginning to be taken down as houses are being built. As far back as I can remember, the orchard was a big part of both mine and my family's life. Starting about 5 years old, I began to work at the orchard by helping the customers return their buggies after they loaded their fruit, oftentimes getting quite a tip as a young child. Moving forward, as I got older, I still worked every summer at this orchard, starting about the first week of June usually, and it would go all the way through when school would start back in the fall. We were open 7 days a week if we had a good enough crop, which most years we did. And we were open from 7 a.m. to 1 p.m. And I can assure you that 7 a.m. was very difficult for me as a teenager. I spent every summer of my childhood all the way through my early 20s at this orchard working. It was a family run and operated business. Many of the customers that came so often that if they didn't come, we would worry because there were so many elderly. I learned so many things at this orchard. I learned things like work ethic and how to deal with customers and created so many memories with my family. As I got older, my responsibilities increased and I loved it. The weekends got busier and busier throughout the summer, and it was guaranteed that you see a lot more of the family. They're working on the weekends than throughout the week. There were many hot days spent in that orchard. My entire childhood is based on and around it. Oh, and I forgot to mention that it's basically my front yard. It's less than a mile away from my house. I love that place and everything about it. There's not one summer that I can't think about that doesn't bring the orchard to the forefront of my mind. Whether it be laughing at the old ladies fighting over the buggies, or coming out of the trees covered in peach juice, or seeing them with bags much fuller than they had intended to get, or the hot, slow days that hardly anybody came through the gate. Whatever the case, I made it through and I wouldn't change it for the world. I drive by daily and see them tearing down the trees as each house goes up and it kills me. My nieces don't have a clue what the orchard is, and that makes me so sad for them because I wouldn't take it away from my childhood for anything in this world. So slowly as I see these trees disappearing and houses pop up, I can still see enough for the memories to flood back. I will always have this quilt thanks to my mom, and to me, it is priceless. I can assure you when I drive by a produce stand in the summertime, or I'm at a grocery store and I see a peach, the orchard always flashes in my mind and always will. I'm so grateful to have this quilt, and I will keep it with me forever when I can no longer see those trees.